today's podcast, where we are going to look at an inspiring yet often neglected topic: nurturing exceptional leaders among street children. Street children possess a lot of potentials, yet also face challenges at the same time, which in a way goes to affect their growth and also their leadership development skills. So I'm joined today by an advocate for street children, where she's going to share with us some specific mechanisms that can help in the cultivation of outstanding leaders among street children. Her name is Priscilla, and I'll let her introduce herself. Priscilla, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dinah.
Yeah. So, who is Priscilla?
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here because, like you rightly said, street children is an extensive topic, but yet we do not talk about it much. Priscilla is the advocacy and engagement lead at Starlight Foundation. My full name is Priscilla Sabia Ado, and for 4 years I've been working with street families, street connected children on various projects, helping them to integrate them back into society with various policies and actions that are tailored towards them. That's what I do currently.
See the way she's so modest about who she is. She's a big woman. But we also have Sly with us, and Sly is the director here at the Grace Life Leadership Center. So Sly, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dee. It's
Yeah.
great to be here as
Yeah. How was your weekend?
always. A bit tiring and
Yeah.
stressful. Had
Yes.
to attend to some best man duties,
Ish.
wedding best man duties. So,
I see. I see. Hey, those of us that didn't have duties.
Don't have
Yeah.
the personal, no.
Okay. All right. So let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I think before we started this, I had a lot of questions, and I had a limited definition of who a street child is.
Yeah.
But I think there are other people like me who would also have that limited definition. So, first, tell us, who is a street child, or who is classified as a street child?
Okay, so a street child comes in various definitions, but what we at Starlight Foundation we work with is people that are connected in any way to the street. So there are street families, there are children working on the street, both with permanent and non-permanent residency. So there are some people on the street, they don't have permanent residency in the town that they are street children. There are also those that go and work on the streets. We see them either begging or working with people that they have home. They come back to their homes, but they are still in a way connected to the street. They are also street connected children. Then we have those who are not even citizens of the town or the country, yet they are there and they cannot go back due to many reasons why they came there. Those are also street children. So basically, anybody that's connected or is in a street situation is a street child.
Well, I've learned a new word. So, street connected children.
Children,
Wow.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It does. Yeah. It's like, what do you
and,
think?
and yeah, I think again, this is a very important topic. You know, I'm equally happy we are addressing it and trying to see the connection with leadership, right? I read a particular research, right?
Yeah.
This was on Research Gates, I think, on Research
Okay.
Gate. And this particular, it was a synopsis of a research done by one Ghanaian on streetism in Ghana and all of that. And according to the research and according to the United Nations, that is around 2022, there were about 150 million street children in
In
the
the
world.
world.
Right. And to put it in context, that's about 46% of the entire population of the of US,
Wow.
right? That's a lot.
Yes.
And then just in the Greater Accra region alone, it's projected to have about 46,000.
They are now
know,
61,000.
Right. So
Wow.
that's an average. That was 61,000. That's a huge population that has
Yes.
been neglected in terms of their development, in terms of their leadership capacities, and in terms of what they have to offer to society.
Yeah.
Right. don't forget, these are human beings just like us, right? And this saying this is not to demean them or something, but they equally have potential that have to be harnessed, that have to be
Yes.
honed, right?
Of
That have
course.
been developed, so that they can also contribute to societal development. But again, oftentimes they have been neglected, and that's why I'm happy anytime I hear people focus on street like Starlight Foundation. It's just
Yeah, we
amazing.
are actually expecting the numbers to go down, and now the numbers are
Yeah,
increasing.
yeah.
We want to increase, but that's not the kind of increase we want.
And I would really love to see why. I wish I could find another research that tells
Yeah.
why there's an increase in streetism instead of a decrease. Looking at the fact that they have been an upspring of many organizations,
Of course.
tackling like Starlight Foundation. So why do we have more organizations and yet the numbers are increasing? I would love to see
Of
this
course.
report.
Yes.
I
Maybe
think
we
we
can
will
take it up.
address that as we are going as part of the conversations.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Because I think there are more social responsibility corporate institutions are doing, but it's still not tackling
Okay.
the problem, the
Right.
root of the problem. How
Okay.
can you sustain them?
Right.
How do you take them off?
Yeah.
It's tackling what people can see in the surface.
Right.
So I think as the conversations are going on, we will see how institutions or corporation can do at the grassroots so that it will be minimized.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
So, Sly, you've lived in China. Do you have street children in China? I'm curious. I believe there are people who are also listening and want to know.
So I've stayed in the big cities in China, right? So I can only speak for that.
Okay.
I've stayed in Beijing for 1 year. I've stayed in
Alright.
Jinan, a city that's about 2 hours maybe from Beijing. I've also stayed there for 1 year, and I've visited like Wuhan, right, for just a couple of days and all of that. Now, per my observation, they are not people on the streets begging, or even in traffic like we see it in Accra. When there's traffic, see people begging. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. So I was curious, and I asked a Chinese friend why, and he said, "Okay, normally the government wouldn't want to lose face, so they have places that they accommodate them, they feed them, they accommodate them, and that kind of thing. So you hardly find street people or beggars on the streets, at least in those two cities that I've stayed in. And yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Priscilla, I when we were looking at this topic, one of the things that was very key to me was who is responsible for these street children or street connected children.
Sorry, I think that's why I had to stretch my two
I
questions.
know, I know.
Because this question, who is responsible? Am I responsible? Because nobody is taking the responsibility for it. But I feel like from the word start go, the family.
Yes.
The family is responsible for every child, whether being a street connected child or any other child. The family, the system of the family, that's what holds every child, gives them a sense of belonging, gives them a sense of gives them a sense of community, that they feel safe not to be out.
Okay.
So in the beginning, or to begin with, is the family. Then there is the community, because I think as Africans or Ghanaians, we all see the importance of community building, fostering good children or good adults out of the community. I think back in the days, you see how adults somebody can just beat your child, or somebody can just correct your child.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that system has also disintegrated as time goes on. So the community. Then you come to systems like the government systems, where there are policies that protect the children, like the child rights, right? Then there are also organizations like Starlight who can also come in. So all these people are responsible. So, like, in total, everybody is responsible.
Yeah.
Everybody sitting here is responsible.
The church,
The church,
the mosque,
the rich man, the poor man, everybody.
right?
I am responsible. You are responsible. Yeah.
Okay, now I know I'm responsible for street children, so I ought to do more. It's amazing that when you have platforms like this, you're able to educate people,
Of
because I
course.
mean, ordinarily people will just see them and pass by whether
Yeah.
they are doing something wrong or
Or
not. Would
not.
not care to stop to correct them because they think, well, it's not their duty at all.
Of course, and there is a certain norm with or a certain way of life we are doing with street connected children where we feel like they are a form of charity work.
Okay.
Yeah. So we dump all the charity works on them. They are not
Okay.
charity works. If a street connected child can build something for himself, let's say being a welder or something on the street, it means the person has capabilities of becoming more if you put attention or you put strategies to train them into their leadership or into their potential. But we often see that they are charity work. So give them one CD, it's Christmas, let's give them food. No, it doesn't work like that. That's why there is the increase. What can be done so that it comes down? That will look at the sustainability of their livelihood so that they can come out of that situation.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I know we are all bothered about how we can like nurture these exceptional like leaders from the streets,
Wow.
but I believe they face certain challenges and obstacles that even makes leadership maybe a secondary problem for
Of
them.
course.
Are you able to talk about some of the obstacles that these street children face or street connected children face?
Of course. So I think first of all, the first challenge they suffer are mental challenges because of the neglect. So you
Yeah.
often see that because there are no fostering of their capabilities or there are no fostering of their abilities, and often not we see them as, how do I say, vices in society, the bad
Yes.
people. So they are in their shelves, they cannot come out, they cannot talk to people, or even when they come close to people, we are often scared, right?
Yes.
When you see the tag on street connected children, oh, probably a thief or probably is coming to do something to you, has is becoming a challenge. So they have mental challenges, they have health challenges. Some of them cannot visibly go to the hospital. They don't
Wow.
have they don't have health insurances. They don't
Yeah.
have places they can go to when they are sick. So it's also a challenge for them. Security. They don't, for those who don't have homes to come back to, they are prone to rapists, they are prone to abusers, traffickers, people who exploit their potentials or exploit them for their own benefit. All these challenges are being faced by street connected children, and every day as you are talking, there is a challenge. There is a challenge of housing, clothing. All those things makes their lives very, 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 very difficult, and these are the kind of challenges we see when we meet them.
So,
Yeah.
what are some of the coping mechanisms for them at the moment, per what you've observed?
Of course. So I think for them, they have formed their own community, right? So you can attest to the slum communities
Yes.
in the big cities. They have form their own form of community where they can speak to themselves and cope. So if you are not within that community, you cannot speak to them. It's very difficult to get a street connected child to talk to you. It's very difficult. You have to
Wow.
put the person through a lot of counseling, use social welfare workers a lot before they can come out. So they have formed their system of living. That's how they cope. They have leaders within themselves. They have the way they bath. They have where they can go to when they are sick. So you that you are coming, no, they see themselves as they have their system because the general system is not favorable to them. So they have their system of coping. And in their mind, nobody can change that or nobody is willing to address that. So they have strengthened those systems for them. So it's very, very difficult. working with them.
Yeah, and just to add to what she was saying, Nana Banamwa, right, one of the media
Yes.
personalities here in Ghana, has this, thing of kind of getting closer to street people, those who sell their,
Coconut.
coconut and those
Yeah.
things. And recently, I'm sure probably you saw it on
Yeah.
social media where
Yes.
She took them to,
two, three of them, for dinner and that kind of thing. And one of them said something very profound. That is talking about the systems. They've been able to create a particular community for themselves
Okay.
where they're actually supporting each other. So one of them actually said that, look, when we have a new person join us and they don't have anything to eat or a place to sleep, we normally come together to contribute for the person or to even accommodate the person for a number of days until the person can get on their feet, quote and unquote. So that is how interesting it is when you get inside this, people on the street and how they are surviving. They've been able to devise their own ways of surviving, and thriving in that particular system. So yeah, I think, when the situation is not good, you have to find a way of going through it. So yeah, I think and they are one of the strongest people. Like,
They are very
people on the streets are
resilient.
very strong, I believe, especially those who are there just to make a living. Those who are there not for any bad, stuff, but just to make sure that they can find food on the table. These are people, most of them are with good morals, with good character. Things are just not working for them economically, right?
Yeah.
So
That means if you are a street child, the influence comes more from peers because you
Yeah.
don't have an authority like the way in the homes you have a father or a mother who guides you.
Yeah.
So if you unfortunately fall into wrong hands,
Right.
then that will influence the
Yeah,
outcome.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
you fall into good hands, like
Yeah.
for instance the one you mentioned, that
Yeah.
means it's likely that you turn out like maybe
course.
better.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that is the case there, and that is why we shouldn't tag all of them. Priscilla was saying
Yeah.
it. Most of them are there and they're doing really good stuff. Imagine coming together to accommodate a new street person. That's some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And most of them too have educated themselves
Yes.
in other forms of studies
Yes.
where they can accommodate anybody. So even when you go into that system, you will see that there's one person standing up you can talk to.
Okay. They
You
have
can-
leaders.
They have
Wow.
leaders that you can talk to if you want to get somebody there. So they have that structure, like how the president, like the executive, they have that system there that they think that everybody outside that comes in would exploit them. So they are
Okay.
very resilient. Those leaders are strong there and they are helping others who come in to find better lives in the street.
Just curious, having been an insider of this, is there anything like the Street People Association of Ghana? have they created anything like that?
I'm hoping it will come up, but it wouldn't sound good because we want them out of the
No,
streets.
yes, but
because
while they are still there,
good. So
just like the how do you call it, unemployed graduate
exactly,
association.
if that group is there, I think it will also be a motivation for others because would
Really?
not for them to come in,
Yeah.
but if we have that group where some people have come out of street situations and they've harnessed their leadership skills and they are doing better and they are the forefront of sorry, my throat today.
Yeah.
They are the forefront of these discussions like what we are having now.
Yes.
It also serves as encouragement for the others that you cannot be there forever.
Right.
If you avail yourself to certain things or certain actions, you can also come out and be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before Sly takes over to ask about the education aspect, are there, from your experience, are there some street children who wish to be out and never come back? And are there others who think that they are forever like glued to the streets?
Career.
And even if, just like how a pig is, even if you try to wash them, they would go back and find
There
them.
are a lot. I think there are more who want to be on the street than those who want to
Really?
come out.
Really?
Yes. So I spoke about how they view the normal society, right? For them, for those I work with and I've spoken to, for them, the society has not been fair to them, right?
Okay.
Has not been fair, giving them opportunities. Some have not been fair with their rights and respect. People don't respect them. People don't give them audience, right? And they have built a system from themselves they can survive. So it's very difficult, especially if they are above 20, above 18, they've stayed on the street for a very long. It's very difficult. They have to go to a lot of mentorship programs to erase that thought from them. But those who are a little bit in their teens, it's very easy to build them up. It's very easy to put something in their mind for them to come. But because they're also in the system, if you don't address it to the root, if you pick just one person out, the person is likely to go back because there is a strong backup at the back where they might say, oh, yes, they have come to take you, but probably a month or two, they'll just leave you. What are they going to do for you? So their system, if you don't address it to the roots, everybody you just pick up will still end up back.
Yeah, and also I've often said this anytime I pass by, and I believe that most of these street guys are not doing bad in terms of their businesses, right? You know, most of them are small scale business. They sell this different stuff. And I actually spoke to someone before. You know, A1 bread, people sell it in traffic.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. He told me that he has a friend, you know, they graduated from secondary school and he decided to just hustle. He has a friend who makes about 1,000 Ghana cedis a month through selling of A1 bread. This is not a promotion of A1 bread, by the way. This is just to give an example. You know? 1,000 Ghana cedis. So I believe that not all of them are doing that bad. What is lacking here is that financial literacy, financial education, right? Financial knowledge. Because I strongly believe that if that is in place, and this is a challenge to Starlight, probably you can come up with something like that. Those who sell, those who have their own businesses, how can we make sure that in 5 years, this person is not more on the street? This person has been able to save, you know, to the extent that they are able to have their own container, like we say it in Ghana, and start moving forward, right? How can we put in place such measures? I believe that the reason why most of them are not coming out is because it's lucrative there.
Yeah.
Like I just said, the A1 person, he wants to stay there because, and honestly, you can sell a lot on the streets, like in traffic, you know. So I think most of them will want to be there because it's lucrative, and that's the freedom it comes with. You know, they are not feeling it as we see it from afar. We think, oh, they're suffering and all of that, but within them, they think they are making some good cash. You know, so that's the other aspect of why maybe most of them are not coming out because I don't know.
Yes, I think Starlight has addressed that in 3 years with our Miss Mekanbi project. So for that specific project, we tailored it to street families, right? We see what you are doing.
Right.
What are you doing? Are you baking? Are you into soups? Or is it lucrative, right? Is it lucrative enough? Do you want to do something else? If what you are doing needs training, we put you there, we give you the staffs, we give you money, we set you up, give you a year to see how best you can save up. So for 3 years now that Miss Mekanbi has been running, the people in Teshi can testify to it. All those families are doing better now. And because we give you that year and put your children also in school as well, you have that free mentality to work, to save. If you want to go out of that business and invest into another business, perfect. So I think that is also one of the sustainable ways of bringing them out of the street, which is very great.
And I think Priscilla has just touched on the question I was going to ask earlier. If per her experience there are any educational projects and policies or programs that have been put in place, and she just mentioned some. I don't know if there are more you want to highlight. maybe even if not from your organization, but yeah, any programs you've seen. Yeah.
Yes. So for Starlight, let me begin with
Yes,
Starlight.
yes, yeah.
Let me be biased.
Yeah.
So for Starlight, I think Dana has rightly said street connected children move in peers. They learn through peer to peer learning. They move in groups. They are a family, right? So what we've identified is that to get them out or to get through to them, peer to peer learning is one of the ways we address that. And I
Okay.
think our Teach Them Young project addresses that, where we group them based on how they move, right? In the community, some are in schools, some are back at home. We group them, we give them mentorship programs, we give them counseling sections, we give them fire and health safety tips. This year, in particular, we partnership with a lot of professionals from the Ghana Fire Service, Ghana
Wow.
Prisons, Ghana Health, NCC. Those are institutions that are also into those things, and they face a lot of street connected children, a lot, especially for Ghana Prisons.
Wow.
They have a lot of stories to tell these children. So with these collaborations, we hope that the children that we meet in those situations can learn from these professionals, or can even hear testimonies of their friends who have been in similar situations, so that they can advise themselves. So yes, there is Teach Them Young. There is Miss Mekambi, which addresses the root cause of streetism in the family, right?
First, because of
Yeah,
our audience who may not be Ghanaians, can
yeah.
you interpret what Minsume Kanhubi
Okay.
is?
So Miss Mekambi means I am part, or I am
Okay.
privileged. I'm also privileged for our non-Ghanaian audience. Yes, so you are not privileged, but we want you to be privileged. You feel
Okay.
that you are not part of community, but we want to integrate you back to community. And how do we do that? We see the root cause of um, the reason why you are on the street. Why are you on the street? Everybody has a different reason why they are on the street. Some have been abused at home, some
Yeah.
have run away from home, some is because of poverty, broken homes. What is the root cause of it? If it's for abuse, I think the Ministry of Gender and Social, Children and Social Protection, through its social welfare department, collaborate with these NGOs to provide those counseling and how do I say, family bonding tips for families who are abusing their children, so that they do not go back. If you have a permanent residence, but because of poverty you are on the street, but you are doing something, we can improve upon that for you. And you also have a place of your own. Either you want to do business. Do you want to go into business, or you want to come into formal education? We have all those sectors there. And currently, I think we launched our online child protection with another NGO, where it also focuses on child cyberbullying. Sorry, because there are also online predators online who are luring the children from their homes to the streets in promise of a lot of things. And when they come here from wherever they are coming from, they get to realize that that is not the situation, that is not what has been promised. So this program also seeks to empower children to stay in school. Stay in school. If you are in school and your parents are able to take care of you, stay in school and be great. You can be a great leader being in school. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something about Ghana
Yeah.
prisons. What are some of the stories with Ghana prisons and streetism?
Yes, and thank you very much. I think this situation is it puts street connected children in bad view of with the community,
Okay.
because when you see habitat or certain places that street connected children stay, right? When we want to integrate them into society, what do? We take the police, they go and root They go and sack them.
Okay.
You see street connected children being beaten, being accused, being taken out of their settling. Some people are not thieves, but because of how they are seen, right? Because of their appearance and all of that, they are being targeted or they are being tagged as those kind of people. And that's basically Ghana prisons with street connected children. Some of them come and they are what they are being accused of. It's not what they've done. Even though some do, but some also are there that are being accused wrongly. And so Ghana prisons also advises them dress well, stay in a clean community, certain appearances that put you in a certain way with people, so that people will not tag you as those things. Yeah.
And just to follow up with some of the programs and policies that have been put in place to help these people. Now, I would love to hear of any successful stories. I'm currently following this online story of this social media content creator Nana T in Ghana here, who identified this guy wanted to be a medical doctor. I don't know if you know that story where KFC and all of those guys came in. Yes. I'm really following this story to see what becomes of this guy, right? Because that will be a very good and successful story to tell about how somebody was lifted off the streets to become someone, right? And I can't wait for us to have, a street person becoming the president of Ghana, a street person become a minister, a street person become an MP, because that would be a huge motivation and inspiration to most of these street people, right? Yeah. So I personally, in fact, there was a time I tried posting on my status, on my WhatsApp status, to know if there are any people who have like personal stories of how they came out of the street. Maybe they were selling, and then through their own ingenuity and people's help, they were able to grow and develop, and they now have their shops and businesses. Yeah. I was looking for those stories because at a point, in fact, I thought about street people, and I was like, if I'm able to bring such successful stories together, they can easily inspire those on the streets, So I don't know if you have any stories of successful.
Oh, Starlight, we are the story.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. I think before Starlight was created, it came about young people in street situations, right?
Okay.
So you can vividly see our CEO, Isaac Opoku.
Okay.
He was in street situations in Taifa.
Okay.
Able to come out, able to go to school, to get scholarship to go to school, great. Come out and set up. That's why our primary goal in Starlight Foundation is street connected children, because most of us have been in that situations, right? Wow. So we can best advocate for them. We can best know. So for me personally, if I should move into this community, because I've been in that situation, I know where to go directly. Yes. I know who to ask. I know the questions. So these kind of stories can also come up a lot if we all come together and address it. I like how this story of the young girl that was married to the Nungwa chief.
Okay.
You see the press that was on that story, the press, the media, they're backing. If that same backing is done for street connected children, I think that every person in that situation will get a place to stand.
Wow. Yeah. So with that, is it that street children don't get enough press?
Yeah.
Really?
They don't get enough press. There's not enough press unless something has happened.
Okay.
We only hear when something has happened, when somebody has been knocked down on the street, or when police has gone to sack some slum or drive them away. That's when the story come up. But if there is a day-to-day time
Average.
for them or audience for them on the media, it puts their story into the people, because people have different perception of street connected children. So if it puts the story into them, because for us as at Starlight, we have Yehunia. It's purely an advocacy program online, but how many people are online? How many people
Yeah.
read, right? People watch TV, people listen. There's a platform, we have to speak about it. If everybody is speaking about this topic in this year, I think by the end of the year, people have different perception of who street connected children are and how they can help them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that some of the team at Starlight actually have an
Experience.
experience, and they are actually successful stories. I like that, and I
Yeah.
would love to know more. I would love to hear more about such successful stories. If that is to happen, we all have a role to play, I believe, because
Yeah.
imagine, personally identifying a street child and taking care of them, mentoring them, coaching them, providing financial support, and helping them achieve their dreams and aspirations, climbing the educational ladder and pursuing their careers and becoming, no, that would be, those are the stories I am personally looking for. So I hope Starlight can churn out more successful
Of course.
people from the streets. That should be the aim.
Yeah.
And I like what she said about how people are not tackling the root cause and how people are not coming up with sustainable solutions to the streetism. It's not enough to just donate packs of rice to the street children, even though it's okay because they're also hungry. But the most sustainable goal should be, how do we eventually get them off? That should be the goal. And once that is done, I think we'll have less of street people instead of the current trend of it climbing. Yeah.
Yeah.